welcome back to the finishing line. And tonight we are joined by Andrew, Sean, and no Tom. Tom was on business, I believe, in London, so he's too tired. And I have to listen to him tonight. So anybody that doesn't like Tom, you're in luck. Sean, how you doing?
All good, Dave. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm good, yeah. Not a bother. I'm only after kind of coming around today after the weekend.
Yeah, that's what happened. Flights home from Birmingham at 6 o'clock in the morning, Dave.
How you doing, Andrew?
Yeah, over my jet lag from Birmingham, yeah.
Can't get jet lag from a 45-minute flight.
You can if you wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning from drinking the previous 2 days and have to go to the airport at 4 o'clock and then fly home at 6 o'clock and you're all over the place.
Well,
who cracked up?
You should just be like Hoodie and stay drinking. You shouldn't have to stay and sit in the front seat with the taxi driver that was talking about.
Oh, tell about taxi driver. Tell her about the taxi driver.
Cocaine, weed, dogging, gangbangs, hookers, and everything else in between. But there you go. And I just wanted
the trainer from Lambourne was involved in it all, apparently.
Yeah, and it was obvious. I just wanted to go to sleep. Please stop talking to me. I'm making it so obvious. But no, just kept on about this laying down Lambourne where the dogging is, and I left him out there, and he came back then when he was finished. But we survived and we got home.
We did. I had a nice nap in the back while you were listening to that.
Man, you were snoring at one stage in the back. I was so jealous.
That's great.
We're live tonight. We're going to go through some of the performances from the weekend last week. Today, Andrew wanted to mention one from today. We are going to then touch on races from Haydock. Excuse yourself.
I said excuse me.
Haydock,
Christ.
Ascot, Punchestown. We'll more so talk about Punchestown because we won't have the declarations really or fully sure what's going to go on there. And then we are going to give, are we giving an anti-post pick or are we doing a different video?
Separate video.
Anti-post pick, but that'll be out tomorrow. So we'll kick it off straight away. Won't be wasting anybody's time. Andrew wants to talk about Jambon today.
Jambon. Everyone calls him Jambon now.
To me, Jambon showed he's a horse. He's 2 ears, 2 eyes, 4 legs, and can jump a fence. Monmoral is a dog. West Cork was held out the back, clear as day, trying to get a handicap mark. I wouldn't like the way he jumps out to the right either, but I'd say they know what they're doing with that horse because he won a great one at Cheltenham when he was well handicapped. So I'd say that's the route they're going. They had no interest in winning the race. Monmoral is probably a 3-mile chaser in the making. He's slow, and Jambon is fast and jumped well, looked well. That's to me. I don't see the fuss of it, to be honest. I think beating 2 140 horses and then being halved in price for the Arkle before Christmas is fucking robbery.
Right.
Good thing.
You don't like him. You've never liked him. You never will like him. I think he's a good horse. I think thought he was an okay horse last year. I always thought he'd be a better chaser.
You said about 4 times last year he was the Supreme winner, so you love the horse. And I don't hate the horse. I backed him for the Supreme.
As you've seen today, he's a very good jumper. He can do it in a hack canter going around, and he bolted up today. I wouldn't be worrying about what the hell he was doing, what was going on behind him. I was more concentrating on what he was doing. He jumped well close, he jumped well far out, and he done it as he wanted. He's a very high cruising speed. Jumps extremely well for first time out. He beat Monmoral, who has more excuses now than any other horse in train. And look, I don't buy into this thing last year. He was used as a pacemaker either. I know you do. He doesn't. He was
100% used as a pacemaker in the Supreme. 100%.
Gosh, he got caught up in the battle up front for the lead. All his races, bar one, he was up at the pace. He was tracking leaders just in behind us.
I'm not saying about any of the other races. I'm saying He was used as a pacemaker at Cheltenham.
Who was the danger in the Supreme? There was 2 horses to him that was dangerous in the Supreme, and the first one was Dice of Darnwood. Second one was Constitution Hill, and he didn't want.
He was a better horse than me.
He didn't want Dice of Darnwood to get too far away from him. And then the horse got caught up. Botley got caught up. He got lit up. You can see it at the start of the day. He was sweating up at the start of the day. He's a bit of a Fruit Loop.
Is JP a betting man?
Well, yeah, but why are you getting into JP is going to lay off his own horse to win it? Conspiracy Theory 2.0.
JP.
Christ almighty.
JP, I'm sorry, but Constitution Hill is a better horse than your horse. Now, you could give us a lead and win a few pounds. Okay.
No.
That's a bit harsh now, Dave.
That's a bit far-fetched now. And
Yeah.
I ever say I heard something.
He was used as a pacemaker in the Supreme. I never said he was a pacemaker before that.
Used as a pacemaker in the Supreme Novice Hurdle.
Yes.
No. Stop now. Jesus Christ almighty.
I fall between the both of you. I mean, like, I think today he was very good. He proved to us that he can jump. That's number one, novice chasing. So he proved that today. He jumped very well. I think it was 4 out. He asked him for a leap now, and he really went. And now the price, on the other hand, I'd be in the same boat as Dave, 2-1. I'm full sure he was about 2-1 before Christmas last year, going into the Supreme, and we looked like he was winning it. It was over.
Yeah,
and
look,
then we put. I know it's a little bit different going novice chasing. You don't really have a Constitution Hill can't just come out of nowhere. But I do think 2-1 is very short now going into it.
Like, I'm not saying that about the price whatsoever. I won't be backing him at the post right now. If he turned up at the day and he was, we see everything else that's coming out as of right now and what he's done. He's by far the best of what we've seen. I know Willie has whoever to go over. We don't even know. I don't even think Willie knows who's staying chasing, who's going hurdling.
Yeah.
And with that, it's still going to take one hell of a horse to beat him if he comes on and improves in that run.
Oh, no, definitely. He has. He's definitely the bar set now. It's set at a really high level. But I think Willie has. If Willie doesn't, and 2-1 is. We
always get caught up with horses who are brothers to this, brothers to that. And I think he's one that people are underestimating because where the rest of them are overhyped. Like the man driving the van and who else. He's one that's actually not being hyped up and one that's going about his business and doing it.
Yeah, he's just really highly strung. That's my only worry. Like you seen Cheltenham last year, he did end up getting into that pace battle. I've no doubt in Arkle they go a million miles an hour down to the first. I'm just worried if he gets caught up in that again, will the same thing sort of happen? That would be my biggest worry at the moment. Yeah,
you see horses like that though, that done that over hurdles who do slow down a bit for the fences. Like probably the best example would have been Undersow. Tearaway over hurdles. Couldn't settle him, and then fences. You know, he didn't settle, but he was more smooth and it was more reserved. But it was still a galloping machine. I think it's going to take one hell of a horse to beat him, and I hope he can get at least Willie has 2 that will be at that standard. And look, out of the anti-post select pick right now, 2-1, you'd be mad to back him.
Yeah,
but I thought it was a very, very good performance.
Anyway,
somebody doesn't agree.
I know, like I literally said today, it's a fine performance. He jumped around. In my opinion, he should have bet Monmoral by 10 lengths. He bet Monmoral by about 10 lengths. It was
apparently hates English horses. Apparently, I do.
It was just a normal performance from a horse that was second in the Supreme, won a Grade 1 at Aintree, and you would expect him to go out and be able to jump fences and win his beginner's chase. I mean, it was not out of the ordinary.
Expecting it is yes, but like not always. Sometimes the jumping, like they go over the fences and they really don't. I think that was number one for me today. He proved to us he can jump and go. That's a difficult enough track to jump around. Fences come at you fast down the back straight, so it was a good first run. But I mean, anyway, like Tom was on about Monmoral as well, and I know Sean put him up for Cheltenham, and he was taken out to go there. Monmoral he's just not a 2-miler, and I don't think he's any good anyway, to be honest.
But I put this to you now: if that was run in Thurles or Clonmel, and the trainer's name was W.P. Mullins, I'm telling you now, every dog, cat, mother, daughter, father, son would be ranting and raving about this thing. I'm telling you, that's a fact.
And if I'll be honest, if we talk about Punchtown, but if Willie ends up running all those horses at Punchtown, I'm sure he probably won't. But if you're on State Man, Sir Gerhard, that maybe you would have thought we were going over fences, then Dysart Dynamo must be unreal over fences, and El Fabiolo must be fucking unreal over fences because he has
one that you forgot, Dave.
He has loads of horses, and if he's can appreciate it, and if he's keeping lads over hurdles to put other lads over fences, then I, for one, will be sticking with Willie Mullins. But we'll kick on to last week, and the performance of Friday, I think, probably was Hermes Allen, the Paul Nichols novice, cost a good few pounds, was out in front. I know he was put into the Ballymore market about 7 to 1 or something like that after the race. I will grow my hair out, to be honest, if he wins the Ballymore. Music Drive is so slow, it's not even funny. He looks like a Bartlett horse, but I'll be honest, I don't think the Bartlett's long enough for him. He needs like 8 miles. So beating that horse, in my opinion, was, he should be beating that horse if they think anything of him. He'll go the same route as probably Brave Man's Game and Stage Star, and he'll come up against better novices at Cheltenham, and he will come maybe 5th, in my opinion.
No, this big problem is he's been christened with he reminds me of Denman quote.
He says that about every horse.
Yeah, but he said that about Brave Man's Game. Look, as you said there, I'd help you grow out your hair if this thing won a Ballymore. He hasn't a chance. Look, he's beaten Willie Mullins, 10th string in what's his name? Fucking Briscoe. He's beaten that. He's beaten Music Drive, who needs a 4-miler over hurdles. We've all been caught. Ran a decent race for his 3rd race over hurdles. He's one to take out for going forward. Look, yes, he got his own way out in front. He went at a dawdle. He quickened it up. Jumped really well, but if you run him in the Ballymore against American Mike or Facile Vega, he's going to have his arse handed from plain and simple.
Yeah, I think I do think it was a good performance. Now he was great over the hurdles. I mean, he was electric over all of them. He does remind you very much of Brave Man's Game, how he does it off the front, and his technique is amazing. Like, for the second time over hurdles, I was doubtful about him because he went around Stratford the first day. I was saying to myself, maybe not really where I don't think Nichols be running his best ones, but he came out and he was really, really good. I mean, he quickened up then after the last and went all the way home. He is the first good one that we've seen, so I think it was just a reaction to go into the Ballymore near the top of the market. I think he's the first good novice performance that we've seen this season. And the same for me. The eye catcher was definitely the horse and toward the Twiston Davis horse. We've all been caught. He was just lost him. He was hurdled very novice at the start. It's like the first time you ever seen a hurdle going over the first. He was terrible. And then coming down the hill, he lost him a little bit, but he came home strong. I'd say he could be stepped up the 3 miles, and he's definitely won. He'd be winning his maiden hurdle the next time, I'd say.
Like, it was a good performance. It was grand visually, but it wasn't oh my God, what was that kind of performance. It wasn't breathtaking by any mean. You can grab it in a way where he got his, like, he'll go off odds on for that bloody race at Newbury.
The Cello.
He'll go off odds on that. He'll be chopped into 4 to 1. Then he meets American Mike or Facile Vega at Cheltenham, and it'll be. I hope a lot of people get stuck into him because it'll give us a bigger price than the other two. Whoever does.
He's come back out a little bit. He's out to 12 to 1. I checked just before he came on, so I'd say it's leveled itself out a little bit.
I'd even have Champ Kiley ahead of him in the Valley. I think Champ Kiley has a more of a. Champ Kiley, to me, if he gets in the battle, he'll stick his head down. Like, obviously, Hermes Allen hasn't gone into that yet, but it doesn't strike me with a horse that will want. I
understand what you're saying. It's a bit like Brave Man's Game.
Yeah, they're going to do it in a big race like that. He's not going to get his own way up front. Look, he could come out and prove us all wrong, but as of right now, I don't think he is.
Okay, we'll kick on to Saturday and touch on Naas and Cheltenham. Just run through some of the performances. We won't spend too long on it. First one's Banbridge, jumped really well, similar to his debut at Gorn. This time is over 2 miles. Very, very good jumper of fences for a novice, but probably for me he'll end up in the Turners, not in the Arkle. But a good performance. Sean, what you think?
Yeah, his jump performance is as good as you'll see as a novice around Cheltenham. I mean, he was gaining at every length. He was having to take a pull every time he went over. He was electric, and he ran them into the ground then up the hill. He was very good. But as you said, I can't see him personally being an Arkle horse. I think he'd be found out a little bit at that level, and a step up to the Turners is probably the route there. He'll go this season.
Andrew?
Yeah, I think the same. Look, it was we were there and he pinged around the whole way. He even slipped coming in around the home bend, which even puts more to the performance to get himself balanced back straight away to meet that fence close up. I think he goes to Turners. I think at worst he plays. I think that his jumping and his gallop, the way he goes about his business, he's relentless out front and he's gaining lengths. I think he's a different horse over fence than he was at hurdles. He's a festival winner in the Martin Pipe. I think he's going to improve again. And whether he's going to win or not, we'll find out soon enough, because you can't really hide from the big horses over here. They all kind of go for the same targets.
I'd be interested to see if they step him up and go on the Drimmore. I mean, that'd really give a nice look to the Drimmore, the looks of Tree Strip.
Most of the Drimmore will tell a lot. I think he's a very good horse. Wherever he goes, he'll be playing a big hand, whether it be the Arkle or the Turners. I think he'll be one that we'll know soon enough, since he's trained by Joseph, and he doesn't have Willie's 5 or 6 to, I need to put him here. I think we'll know soon enough where he'll go.
Okay, the second one at Cheltenham, what we're going to talk about is Gallo. Won the Paddy Power. Didn't jump well, stayed on up the hill. We'll probably see him stepping up and trip again, I'd say, in future. Nice run from French Dynamite as well, but was just outstayed going up the hill. How do you feel about Gallo going forward, Andrew?
Don't really feel much, to be honest. I think that's his level. Handicaps, grade 3s, things like that. Look, he done really well to win the way he jumped. I backed him that day, so I was happy he got up to beat French Dynamite. But yeah, there's an engine there for sure. He missed the last and the second last, and if he didn't miss them, I think he would have been a very impressive winner. Needs to step up again, but he has the potential. He was a very good novice chaser. He racked up a good few wins. Be interesting to see where he brings him. He could grab a handy enough grade 2, grade 1 around England somewhere. But yeah, I'd be interested to see where he goes next. He'd be one I won't be writing off totally, but I think there's a few better than him out there. I think the one that I want to take over, and that's what I backed on today as well, is the Alan King Trail, Darren the Carjack. He was nowhere coming down the hill and he ran on really well. I think there's a handicap in him somewhere down through the season, so he's one I'm going to keep an eye on for the rest of the season.
I can tell you now, he will always find a way to lose. Trust me.
I think step up and trip again up to 3 miles. One of the big handicaps at one of the festivals or around Christmas time. I think he's a big run in him.
Should have won the time before Cheltenham and he gave the race away.
Yeah, he's off a mark of 130, which it's doable. He might have a big day in him.
Sean, Gallo.
Yeah, I mean, he was a little bit of a project for me there. Now, I said to you after we seen him at Aintree, I pinned him down and I said he has Paddy Power written all over him. And I'd be lying to you if I thought most of the race I thought he was beaten. He was scruffy jumping. He was out the back. He was big time struggling. You could really tell it was his first time in a handicap. It looked all I see. And I think that just makes the performance even better. I think the gritty show to dig in and get up on that line is really good. I mean, if he improves, of course he's going to improve for a second run in a handicap. I'd say he has another one of these in him. He's done so much wrong and still managed to get up. I think he got £5 for it, and I wonder will they line him up for another big handicap.
Yeah. Well, by all accounts, Jamie Sloan said he's going for that 3 mile handicap at Doncaster of all places, which isn't until January or the start of February, which Strange one for me, but I think him and French Dynamite could both run in the Ultima at the festival, and I think the trip would suit both of them.
Yeah, I think Doncaster will suit him a lot more because he'll have a lot more time to sort himself out up that home straight.
And he'll definitely stay forward. Like he was going very well up the end of that hill.
Big performance on Saturday then in the bumper from the dancing horse herself, Queen's Gamble. You never see her dancing on Twitter, no?
Oh, is that her that doing the headbanging? Is that her?
That's her. Yeah, she battered the field in the mayor's bumper. I'll leave Sean talk about some of the times and stuff. She's wicked impressive, and it's actually a nice story. One of these stories that pops up in racing. Oliver Sherwood hasn't had kind of a decent horse since Manny Clouds passed away, and he's been sick with cancer himself. And then this filly pops up, and looks like she's gonna put him back in the big leagues because she was very, very good on Saturday. Sean, I'll leave you to take it away.
Yeah, Dave. This is performance of the weekend now for me. She really has me by the heart now. She was dynamite. She travelled. I think she's just very good. Now, I wonder. I'd hold gun on the champion bumper just for the moment. We don't know what Willie has, and I'd just be a little bit worried. But her against her, she's due to run again. He said at the start of December in Huntingdon against the Mares. She won't be beaten. She'll take a hell of a lot. If something comes out and beats her, that's who I'll be following because she was special. And I do the times myself. So in the first race we had Scriptwriter. He ran in the Triumph Trial.
Juvenile, yeah.
And she was 10.5 seconds. Her final time was 10.5 seconds quicker than him. So to put that into perspective for people, it's about 40 lengths. So now she didn't jump hurdles, so we had to take that into account. But if many of you want to take away for a hurdle, maybe 1 or 2 lengths, she's still the best part of 30 lengths career Scriptwriter. And then on the same day, we had the handicap, and she was 25 lengths clear of unanswered in the handicap. So that's a mighty performance for me. She's right up there.
And the bumper on Sunday won by Milton Harris's horse. How far did she beat that horse by? Different days, obviously, but the ground was quite similar. So
yeah, no, I see that with the times now. I only stick to day because too much variables. But he was at least a furlong behind her the last day that she ran, so that's another form boost for her.
Andrew, what do you think of Queen's Gamble?
Very good, visually impressive. You just have this suspicion that Willie has something lurking somewhere, or Gordon has something. Someone has something. I don't know. A mare going into the bumper. I know that was it bloody Willie's
Fiona and Regulate.
Yeah.
Or whatever her name was. She was useless.
But I think she's a 4-year-old going into 5. It's going to be awfully hard for her to beat the geldings. You know, she is getting weight. But she has the potential to be unbelievably good. There's no two ways about it. I'm surprised they're running her so soon. That's a big surprise to me. I would have given her, unless this is one more run and then they're putting away for Cheltenham.
Yeah, that's the plan. Like she's only had, I think they're getting a bit of experience into her because she only had 1 run last season and then 2 going into the champion bumper.
To me, I don't think she needs any more experience. She looks very straightforward.
Yeah.
She travels behind the bridle. You give her a kick in the belly and she takes off.
I'd say they want to get a little bit of black type beside her name. I think it's a grade 2 or a grade 3 bumper. So
makes sense. But yeah, look, the way I think of it, she's going to be very good, and people are going to take this the wrong way because people are in the fan club already, is if they thought she was that special, why the hell did she go off night before? How did she go off?
And that's the thing, like people are probably going to...
That's why, just a little in my mind, if they knew she was that good, would there not have been a mountain of money on this thing?
But see, like I think that's what I was saying about the form. Like in the race, they had a Willie Mullins one backed off the boards, and they had an unbeaten Fergal O'Brien horse. People are probably going to look back and say because she won so far now, they're going to crab them. Like the Willie Mullins horse was 1 from 1. And
even going into that, we spoke about it that day, and we're talking, this Willie Mullins thing isn't up to much.
Nah, but I said this to you over at the track at Cheltenham and Putty as well. You said this as well. If she's that special, why did she go off the price she went off. But like that's happened with loads of horses, and you have to look what was in the bumper. People are going to back Willie Mullins' horse because it's a Willie Mullins' horse coming over, running in the bumper, and Fergal O'Brien's horse Bonte
Here's
was
the
a
thing.
winner as well. So there was
Yeah.
plenty of opposition there.
Here's
Yeah,
the
there
thing.
was like
Look, I'm just be playing devil's advocate here now with this question. If that was one of Willie's good one, why wasn't Patrick on it? Why was Bryony on it?
She didn't run on it for long.
Oh, a flat horse decided to turn into a show jumper. I never hear a gasp so loud in my life when that happened.
But even on the price thing, like I imagine she probably doesn't do a lot at home. She went off 16-1 the first day and won by 10, 15 lengths. Like she obviously doesn't show too much at home and comes alive. And I listened to the interview. The owners actually they put out their interview with Johnny Book after, and he said the feel, and he said she's special, and he sat on a couple of decent ones. So
yeah, to me, like she's by far the best of the English have so far, and she probably will end up being the best. Again, it's just a Willie factor, isn't it?
Yeah.
The way she traveled on the outside of the horse in front coming down the hill, I rewatched the race when I came back. That's a grade 1 horse, the way she traveled coming down the hill.
What's a massive plus for her as well is course experience.
Yep. I think she's very good anyway, and I know Willie probably has bumper horses ready to come out at Christmas, but I am positive she beat all of what I've seen of Gordon's anyway. They are all...
I reckon conclusion of what I'll say anyways. With what I said anyway, she's the best of the English, and if she turns up in that form or even improves on that, I think she's a banker for top 3 at least.
She's a good bet.
Yeah, she's 10-1 at the moment for anybody who's interested in the champion bumper.
Over at Naas, just touch through some of the horses, and if the lads want to talk about any in particular, they can. Astro Diamond won her maiden hurdle. She was against the Geldings. Decent enough performance. She probably has a good shout in the Mayor's Novice Hurdle. Brazil bet Phil Dore. It was a mistake from Phil Dore, but I think he was probably cooked at the time anyway. Gentleman to me, it's an absolute fruitcake, and you can't win races running like a fruitcake first time out. You have to be fully fit.
I don't
know what Andrew did there. He burnt himself or something. Core Sublime was doing what he does every time first time out. Myself and Andrew and Putty talked about it the Friday night. I said, never back this horse in my life, but I'm back in Core Sublime tomorrow. We did. And he fell just when you think he might have won you some cash. And the bumper horse, I think Andrew put the bumper horse in, is a 3 for 3. The one that was bet.
3 Stripe Life.
3 Stripe Life.
I think
Andrew has 3 for 3. It must be mixing up. But 3 Stripe Life jumped adequately. I like the horse a lot. No, Tom likes the horse a lot. Tom reckons he's a Turner's horse.
He's
a horse, not a Turner's horse. He wants a trip. I've said it all through last year. I'm full sure this is a Brown Advisory or RSA, whatever it is these days. He's nailed on to that race. I hope he goes to that race because I think he would be hot for a bit of speed in the Turners and will probably stay on up the hill. Sean, what did you think of the horses at Naas on Saturday?
Yeah, Dave, I think Astro's Diamond, like, although visually it mightn't look the best, I thought it was a good performance. Like, the throw her in first time against the Geldings, she jumped very well, and she got caught in a little pocket coming around the bend at Naas, and he was just not where he wanted to be. He was a couple of lengths back, and he had to get after her. Now, my little worry was, how much is that going to take? I wouldn't say they'd be too happy. I'd say they got stuck well into it there. They might have had a tough race. And I heard the Royal Bond being mentioned for our next run. Brazil, Phil Dore. Geez, you can see why Phil Dore didn't go chasing now. He jumped like a dog. The warning signs were out early when he missed down Royal. He didn't go chasing. I thought maybe there was something up with him. Gentleman to me, as you said, fruitcake. He's not going to learn to settle anytime soon. He tore off past the stands and he gave himself no hope, getting really tired late. And 3 Stripe Life. I just wonder how tight that might be in a grand jury. Now, don't get me wrong, I do think he's the best horse, but he looked a bit big and he looked like he'd take, a hell of a lot for the run. I just wonder how far he would have pushed him.
In my opinion, he was going to win, but fair play to the You know, fair play to the mayor that ended up beating Gentleman to Me in the end as well, because she's been trying to get black tied for a long time. So, Andrew, what do you think of the Irish horses at Nice and Saturday?
Fly short. Astro Diamond done nothing for me really. Yeah, look, she was probably well undercooked. She don't be surprised she comes on 10, 15 pounds for that run. It was just one of these races. I mean, okay, she won. That's grand. Move on to the next race. So yeah, you didn't really learn that in there.
Well, I do think it was a big one taking on the Gallons first time. It does show the intent with her.
Was it though? If she's a grade 1 horse, she should be beating them anyway. I wouldn't read anything into that. If she's as good as they think they are, and she should be beating them, doing backflips.
Yeah, a bit harsh on her. I think she was very good, to be honest.
Yeah.
She was good. She picked up well, but
she could easily stick to mares races and have an easier route. Like,
yeah, but you're thinking you know you have a grade 1 horse. They obviously think she's a grade 1 horse. You're throwing her into a bog standard maiden hurdle. She's going to win. Plain and simple, she's going to win. Like,
this year, I just don't think it looked the best, but
you're saying, "Oh, that was really good," but yeah, Jam Bomb was only all right.
That's what I don't get. Like, there was a comment there saying you were talking about price of Queen's Gamble, and as someone said, if Willie owned Queen's Gamble and she had done that, everyone would have a hard on for her.
You know, because Willie has something there. That's the thing. This time last year, fast
and again, I didn't say anything about Jamba, only it was a standard performance.
And the same with that there. That's just a standard performance. It was amazing.
You do not like, or do you even evaluate Monmoral as a decent horse? So you cannot equate Jambon beating him by a great performance.
As I said, and I've said it for years, I couldn't give a shit what they beat. It's how they do it. I've said it for years. I couldn't give a shit what they beat. It's how they do it. Anyway, and Astro Diamond had every right to beat them. I won't get carried away, but the mare is going against the Gellens in the maiden hurdle, where she's clearly a grade 1 horse in the making. It was a good performance. The next one will be a lot better because she'll come on 10, 15 pounds, as I said. Next one. I love this show. Brazil and Fildor. Brazil, good, decent horse. Fildor, why is he still running over 2 miles? Something tell me. This horse needs a trip like there's no tomorrow. He's the slowest star, and the slower he goes, his jumping might improve a bit. I don't know. He's just a weird horse right now. I think he needs a trip. Set him up in trip, see what happens. I don't think they'll do much more for the season unless he goes up and trip. Brazil could be one that will pay his way throughout the season. But yeah, they're much of muches, really. Where are we going? With Course of Blime. Yeah, myself and Dave thought we were going to collect that on Saturday. I think the problem with Jet, to me, he races so mental that he has to be really fit to be able to withstand doing what he does. So I think the further you go in the season, he'll probably do the spring festivals again, where he'll be really ready to go, and I think that's when the time to catch him. Who's next? We are Three Stripe Lives. Same with Dave. Sepp and him agreed about this horse for the last 2 years. He's a 3 mile chaser in the making. He looks everything like a 3 mile chaser. He looked pregnant on Saturday. I thought he was going to get beat, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I just had that question in my head, like, oh, he looked a little bit in trouble.
It's like Davey is squeezing this fella a long way out now, and Rage still hasn't gone for her yet. And the way Henry's horse were running that day and all over the weekend, they're running out of their skin. So I had a feeling it was going to be very close, if not being beaten. But yeah, look, he's going to come on a ton for that. I say he's a horse that just takes a hell of a lot of work. I think the further the season goes on, the better he'll be. I agree with Dave. I think he's a Brown advisory horse all day long.
Oh yeah, definitely. Even looking at him, he just didn't look. He looked very one pace now.
Yeah,
at the last day. So I'd say definitely his step up.
The further he goes now, the better he'll be.
Okay, so the Sunday, to be honest, it wasn't a great day's racing for a Cheltenham Sunday Great Work Card. I mean,
We don't even need to talk about it.
A 3-runner race and a 5-runner race. The only performances to talk about or touch on was I like to move it winning the Greatwood off top weight. Now he's quite lowly rated in the higher scheme of things. I think he's like 142, but he did lump around 12 stone, but it ended up being like a bumper as well with only 4 hurdles. So they're talking about putting him into the champion hurdle. He doesn't have a hope in hell at the champion hurdle. And then the Supreme Trial, John McConnell's horse Fenner Cross won that well. Again, it ended up being pretty much like a bumper.
Also, be lap Supreme.
He did win that particular race quite nicely, but in my opinion, and I think the lads as well, no chance in.
Yeah, you can rip that up. Not one of them will be anywhere near the Supreme hurdle.
They'll be in a different postcode when the lads are crossing the line.
Yeah.
But in Ireland and Navan, there was quite a good card. Some of the horses were pulled out. We didn't get to see Fernie Hollow. We didn't get to see the 2 Mile Chaser that moved to Willie Mullins that Sean didn't like all last year. Flame Bearer. But there were some nice performances, and I'll touch on these and leave the lads talk you through them then. Hollow Games, don't know where this came out personally because he looked like a boat all last year and bolted up and looked brilliant over fences the other day. I thought he was wicked impressive. He jumped unbelievably well. Bob Ollinger traveled like the old Bob Ollinger. To me, I don't like the head carriage up in the air. Looked like he had a wind issue and crawled over the line again. He looked the winner the whole way. Obviously, the horse that beat him, Home by the Lee, strong stayer, but the last half furlong for Bob, he's just crawling up the line again. In my opinion, dropping back 2 miles, I think that's the best course of action. He travels really, really very like a fast horse. And Captain Guinness, Andrew's favourite one of Andrew's favourite horses.
It only took 3 years.
Finally won, put it together, and he jumped well. Riviere to Tell, I don't know what they were doing with that horse. She's a lunatic front runner, pretty much like Gentleman to Me. And they just tried to curtail her, and she didn't jump. But Captain Guinness did what he was supposed to do, and fair play to him. Andrew, what did you think of the race in Navan? You're a big Bob fan, so...
I get the Bob now. I go through the way you went through it. It's Dave, same as you. Hollow Games. Where in the name of God did this come out of? That was unreal.
No.
Same as you. I thought this fella's a 3 mile hurdler, 3 mile chase, and he absolutely bolts up. That was out of left field. That was impressive. Yeah, exciting. Fences might be the making of him. Might be looking forward to him again. On to Bob. Drop down to 2 miles. Hope for the best. And I'll say what I say about horses that come out of pain. They're out of their comfort zone. I think he remembered the last furlong, Dave.
Well,
what happened to him.
I didn't like the head carriage. I honest to God didn't like the head carriage. It was up in the air. When he finally came off the bridle, he, to me, didn't want to know about it. But he travelled like the fastest horse in the race. Florin Porter fell away, but I mean, first run, 2.5 miles and all that. But Bob travelled amazingly. But when push came to shove, head went up in the air and started crawling up the line. I said it straight after the race. I think he's tailor-made for the Aintree hurdle. 2.5 miles, flat track, travel around there on ground he would like. I think he'd win that race. But other than that, I don't know where you go.
I'd give him a go over 2 miles in a proper 2 mile hurdle race. Grade 1 2 mile. See, does it drag him into the race, and can he finish with that little kick? He has a kick, and he done it in the Ballymore. But can he sustain it now is the thing. And again, I think it's the whole, he's remembered what happened to him last season. He was practically out on his feet, dead at Cheltenham. And then the effects were a Punchestown after it. I'm one for totally believing that horses will remember what happened to them. And it's like any person that has any kind of injury in sports, you'll always remember, if I go X pace, there's a very high chance that this muscle will go again. So you always reserve something. The head carriage as well could definitely be something to play with us. And whether they put a tongue tie on the next day, I'd even say a pair of cheek pieces would go astray. to keep him going forward at the end. But
Yeah,
definitely dropping back down to 2 miles, a strong run 2 mile race. See what happens. He has a cruising speed. Jumping's not great, but it's not great over hurdles. It's terrible over fences. But I think that's where you go. If that fails, off the 2.5 miles, you piss up in it.
we hadn't, and Sean will touch on this as well, I'm sure, but we hadn't seen Bob properly come off the bridle until Cheltenham last year. And that's twice now he's come off the bridle and been under pressure and looked cooked the last half hour.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he did look really, really like he was fucked, for lack of a better word. Sorry, I know what it was. He looked like a fella that was at the coming in from pre-season training, at the run the length and breadth of Tramore Beach, and that's just me dying for the last bit. But yeah, look, he's a horse with so much talent that you just hope that something's going to click, but I don't know. And then, sorry, last one, good old Captain Guinness. Only took him 3 years to get me money back, but I wouldn't even say I got me money back, to be honest.
Don, what do you think of Navan on Sunday?
Yeah,
sorry, John, before I Riviere has big jumping problems. Done the same at the Dublin Race Festival. Should have beat Footpad, ploughed through the last. She's jumping problems as well.
I wonder, is Dave getting worried about Fernie form yet?
Fernie,
Bob. I'm worried that we didn't see him. Like, I'm hoping it was only ground worries, but look, it is what it is. I'm not going to run a horse that's that fragile on ground that he deemed too quick.
On from Bob. Just what I was thinking. I was looking at right here in front of me. Just say Home by the Lead didn't win. He beat the rest by 10 lengths. He'd be flooring Porter by 10 lengths in the head. It would be a different conversation we're having. But I think the fact that he was beaten,
he was in fact in the race. Like,
that's what I'm saying. I think it was good that he did get beat, because now you're looking at him going, right, he's still hanging the head, he's still crawling over the line. But then I don't know, I'm talking myself out of it now again. Then you're thinking, Christ, he was 10 lengths ahead of a Stayers hurdle winner.
He was getting £9 though as well. So he like the race.
Flooring Porter was probably what, 70%, 80%, 50%,
60, but it looks of it.
Bob should have won that race. Talent alone and the weight he was getting, should have won that race, and it was looking like he was going to do the job up until the last furlong, and then just caved again.
Like one horse, I just want to touch on as well is Sani here. What in the name of God do you do with him now? He was back into 11-4, and he finished like a pig. Triplets. Yeah. That's what he is now. Sorry, Sean.
Sunday.
No. Yeah, back to Hollow Games. They walked around now and he sprinted home. He done something similar last season over hurdles at Navan, second time out, where they walked around and he sprint, but his jumping was electric. I mean, like, you won't see much better than that going around down there. They came across the last tree flying, and he really asked him at the last and he came up. But I just wonder what this guy's limits are. Is that, will he push on? I personally don't see it. I know Gordon Elliott always said that they always thought he was a chaser. It was good, but I take that with a pinch of salt. Home by the Lead, how he won, I don't know how. Gone Boy, that stands the first time. He got two cracks of the whip. He hit 1,000-1 in the running, and I don't know how this ever happened. He got back up to beat Bob. Now, Bob, that's a worry for me. I said it. I wouldn't be touching Bob at Rob Money, but how he didn't put that to bed now would really, really worry me. I couldn't be touching him. He will come back down and trip, and you'd hope he... Do you know what? He travelled into all of them. I think it's just that pain threshold. He's just not going to go through that, and he'd be finished for me. And
sorry, I'm just talking to them. What would we be saying now if Bob wasn't there and Home by the Lead beat the rest of them by half the track?
In fairness, now Florian Porter gave them all £9. Like, they were all entitled to be getting there in front of him and saying we shouldn't be really questioning Florian Porter's run after the race. I wouldn't imagine. But Home by the Lead beating him, I'd just be worried. I know you were saying if he wasn't there and he won by 9 lengths, but at the end of the day, I think he won.
Say Bob wasn't in the race.
Oh, Bob.
If Bob wasn't in the race and Home by the Lead was after beating them by, what was it, 15 lengths? Was it? By 12 lengths. beating Ashley Bob with 12 lengths and then Furham Porter, Sir of Burley and Commander Fleet. You'd be probably throwing it out as a free run.
Yeah.
If fair to Sir of Burley and Commander of Fleet, they were only out for having a pick.
You're throwing out the back and you just gallop around there.
Yeah, like I know Sean will keep going here, but I did getting whooped or just about to get whooped by Galloping last year at Cheltenham for Bob. I think he had excuses because I think we're all in agreement that Henry's weren't running the best last year, and there was probably something wrong with the horses. I'm more worried about what happened to him Sunday because he should have won the race. Absolutely should have won the race, but couldn't get it done in the last furlong. So, like, what happened in the last furlong? And you both touched on that pain threshold. Maybe he's just going to keep like how he traveled through that race on Sunday was like that's the winner the whole way around. Like,
I think it's a heart over head thing here. Like, if you really wanted to question, you could start saying first run. Will he come on? If you really want to dig into it, I'm sure you could find a way to convince yourself that Bob is definitely a bet.
I'd be like you, Sean. I wouldn't back him again now, or be tempted to anyway.
No, not for me. And then the last one, sorry, Captain Guinness, he eventually got his day in the sun. I'd say that'll be him done now. And
that's him done for the season.
Yeah, that's him finished now, and he had his day.
Okay, so we'll go on to the races for this weekend. I'll just get them up here on the old great app.
Back to the old one.
We're going to go to Haydock first. And the first one is the 225. It is the Betfair Exchange Stayers handicap hurdle, 3.5 miles. I'm sure it'll be running soft ground, generally is, and Haydock is hard old track to get through on soft ground. Suits front runners. Run for Oscar's favorite, 4-1, and Might Eye is up there as well, 4-1. Good Risk at All, who loves heavy ground, 6-1. Complete Unknown, 13-2. Get a Tonic, 8-1. Botox Hass, 10-1. Wacool, 10-1. 16-1 bar. Andrew, you can take this first. Is your horse from the flat going to do the business?
I don't think so, to be honest. I think 12 stone and what's probably going to be very soft ground was going to take one hell of a performance to carry that around Haydock. We know how soft Haydock gets. I don't think he does as much as I want him to. Probably not. His last run over hurdles was the 30th of October last year. So coming into a race like this, I know he's won the English Cesaro, which and bolted up in that. I put him up for that race, but I don't know. No, I won't back him in this now, to be honest. I think Good Risk All for me is probably the best bet in this. As Dave just said there, he'll love the soft ground. Bolted up last time up against Holstone, beating him by 4 3/4 lengths. His form is actually decent if you go down through it. He's beaten One for the Road, Tom, in his flat race, in a bumper. And we know what One for the Road, Tom, has gone on to do. He's been 4th in the Imperial Cup. He's been 3rd in the Scottish Champion Hurdle. That alone is decent form. He beat I Like to Move It. He was 6 lengths behind John Bon at Newbury last season, where he was sent off 2-1, and John Bon was sent off 10-11. So they really think a lot of the horse. Beat Christopher Wood by 9 lengths doing handstands, and then was putting his place in the grade 1 behind Trisha Blythe for the end of last season. I think this fellow will probably go off favourite. He's 5-1 right now. He's my idea of a winner. One who I'm really interested in as well at a big price is good old Main Fact. Had a lovely comeback run after 582 days out at Newbury back on the 21st of October. It's a horse that won the big hurdle race around here before. He's strong. It would have been 10-11 wins in a row between flat and hurdles. He's on a mark of 147, which is £3 below his last winning mark. I think he could play a massive run. I see the money starting to come. He's being clipped in from 25s into 14s already. He's a horse that will go in here under the radar, and David Pipe's horse are actually running decent enough. A few of them are. I think if Fergus Gillard gets jocked up on him again, I think he'll definitely outrun his odds, especially with the ground if it comes up heavy. yeah, but good risk at all. Main win bet and main fact each way if he turns up.
Sean?
Yeah, Dave, it's I don't know about run for Ascot. I wouldn't think
It doesn't really have the same ring over hurdles, does it?
Yeah, it doesn't really float my boat now for me. My one in this one now is my die. I heard Andrew's point about his horse that he picked, Good Risk or All. He beat him very convincingly at Aintree. Like, he was a good few head of lengths ahead. Now only to be beaten by Three Stripe Life, and we think he's top class. He bumped into a couple last season. I reckon they thought very high this horse. I mean, he went off favourite against Constitution Hill. He was beaten by him. He then went to Haydock and he ran a graded race and he was beaten by Jambon. I think he kind of fall down into a weaker race here. A step up and trip. He definitely didn't look to be stopping at Aintree. And he's a pound less than Good Risk at all. And he's beaten him a quite good few lengths. I see that hard to turn. So it's my eye for me here.
Yeah, I can see why you'd fancy my die. I don't really fancy Run for Oscar on Saturday either. My die straight here though, Good Risk at All has fitness on his side, and I would be with Andrew in that sense. On Saturday, it probably will end up being attritional ground and a tough race, and having fitness on his side, I think, would play to Good Risk at All strength. And I just think he's a much better horse on soft, heavy ground. Aintree last year was, I think, good to soft. I just don't think that ground suits him. And I think Botox has to run well again. It would not surprise me if he placed, so each way on him. I think people that fancy Shoot First for the Pertemps at the festival, you want him to run well. He split Shoot First and on Toyor, who I think you both talked about in the last Cheltenham podcast, the showcase meeting, that he would probably pop up and win a decent handicap as well. So carrying a lofty weight and splitting those two horses in that race at Cheltenham the last time, I think it was a good performance. So I think he will run well also. On to 3 o'clock, the Betfair Chase Grade 1, 3 miles. Aplutard bolted up last year. 5-runner race, kind of disappointing turnout, but I suppose this was going to happen when you've a Gold Cup winner in it and kind of feel like you don't have any chance of winning. But Aplutard is 8-15, 1-2 on. The Rat is 3-1. Bristol de Moy, who won this loads of times, 9-1. Good old timer. Eldorado Allen, 14-1. And I don't really like Eldorado Allen, but fair play to the Tizzards because he dances every single dance, pops up in all these races, and he runs his heart out, God bless him. And Frodon is in there 20-1. Nichols said he's going to run as long as the ground is not too bad. Aplutard should be winning this. There doesn't really seem to be anything that in the race to beat him, but I wouldn't back him personally because Aplutard numerous times has should have won races, not won races, and then popped up the next time at a better price in a better race and end up winning that race. So
this is different.
He should very much win, but I wouldn't back him anyway. I wouldn't back Anton in the race, but Aplutard should win. But it would not surprise me if he lost. Sean.
Dave, he wins. I mean, these will not get. He just wins this. I can't see how any of these turn the form. Like, I really can't. You seen him at Cheltenham last year, and Taker that was in behind, and last season he just tore the shreds in this race. Now, my little worry is he's 4-5. Now that is a little bit worrying. He was 1-3 in the week. I just wonder, has something happened? Because if he goes off a 4-5 tomorrow, there's gonna be some big on Saturday. If there's some big boys with big money are gonna invest in that because that's ridiculous.
I imagine it's only down to the ground.
But I actually went and checked, and they have good to soft in the ground description today. So I'm not too sure, and they have a bit of range here. So I don't think the ground's going to be an issue. But a 4-5, that's screaming.
It's been bucketing down all day in England. It's been constant. Yeah. Look,
I don't know what this drift is. That's my only little worry. I wonder if anything has happened or if something, because there's no way he's a 4-5 shot in this race.
There is no way we should make this any way complicated. This thing is a Miles Kieran rating. He battered whoever ran in the Gold Cup. He won this race last year doing handstands. I know the ground is going to be different, but he's miles better than any of these. A country mile better than anything. People are going to say, "Oh, this is going to be his first run of the season. How good is he going to be?" We know he can be ready the first time. I know what Dave was alluding to when he was a novice and that he got beaten. Was it the Forturia chase or whatever it was, by Castle Grace Paddy and all that. But he's a different horse now. They know what he is. He's a 3-mile chaser. He's a Gold Cup winner. These aren't going to get an arse's roar. That's the way I see it. I think he's rated, 180? And the closest to him is Protect Grant Fraud at 164. He wins this doing handstands.
Yeah.
Okay, on to the 335 at Haydock. The best odds on the Betfair Exchange handicap chase. 3 miles, 1.5 furlongs, class 2. Favourites Lord Accord, 4-1. Houston, Texas is 9-2. Musical Slave, 6-1. Lord de Mayneel, 7-1. Fontaine Calange, 7-1. The Big Breakaway, 15-2. Goodbye Bobby, 10-1. Truckers Lodge, 10-1. Castle Robin, 10-1. And 12-1 Bar. Anybody have any fancies in this? It's a tough race.
Yeah, very tricky race here. It wouldn't be a strong bet for me now, but Fontaine Calange of Venetia Williams. I really liked. I think if the ground comes soft, and we know what Venetia Williams can do with these handicappers improving. I like the way he won at Lingfield, and I think he's stepping up and trip. He might have a little bit of wiggle room off his mark, and the horses in behind at Lingfield have come out in one since. So Fontaine Calange, but definitely not a strong bet for me.
Yeah, I'd probably be the same as Sean, but we'll touch on this when we talk about La Home Presse. Venetia badly needs a winner. She's 0 from 23 in the last 2 weeks. She had a horse come third today. Looked like the winner and dropped out. So she could do with a winner, but maybe it's going to be him. Andrew.
I really like the favour Lord Accord. I backed him last time when he's behind Frodon. Made a Horlocks at the last. Whether it would have make a change to the result, don't know. He would have been a lot closer though. He's only gone up, I think it was £3 or something like that for that run. Gone up £3 for that run. That puts him bang there. He'd be very tough to beat if he turns up in the same form. He won the Cheltenham the time before that. Only worry is it's 3 runs in kind of quick succession. He ran 22nd of October, 5th of November, and which is going to be the 20th when this is run. But if he turns up in good form, he should be very hard to keep out of the frame. One who caught my eye at the last day out around Bangor was Lord of Mesnil. He ran a great race to finish second to Lamilos or whatever his name is. He's £3 lower than his last win back in would have been 2021. But he's ran in some decent enough races. He was second behind Goodbye Bobby at Weatherby last year. He was 6th behind Royal Bugai. Ran a few races at France, but that was a fairly promising run. He stayed on really stoutly, and with the amount of rain coming, and if it does stick, and we know Ascot when it gets soft, it gets soft. Weatherby. Haydock, sorry. When it gets soft, it gets really soft. And it'll take some getting, and we know he stays even further than the 3 mile one. So 8-1, I wouldn't put anyone off having a bet on him.
Okay, we're going to Ascot. I just touch on one of the comments because Alex, after asking it a couple of times, touch on Bardenstown lad at Cheltenham on Sunday.
How in the name of did people back this thing at 11-10 or be even back it into 11-10?
You should all be ashamed of yourself if you backed that horse and made that thing go off favour on Sunday. That can't jump, and it's a terrible horse, very slow.
It's probably the same wise guys who backed him for the National Hunt Chase.
How have they not learned? Like the first run at Killarney told you enough. You didn't need to see it again. Yeah. Back enough. Do you know who he is? He's Vanillier. Vanillier this year. That's who he is. Backs off fences, hates his life, hates jumping, put him back over hurdles and hope for the best.
It's like the good-looking girl that you've got into your head it's going to be worth it, and you get her home, and then you're like, fuck me, that was a waste of time. And then you see it
on the line. Oh, fuck.
the next weekend and you just leave all that happened, just go and go, it's going to be worth it again this time. I know it is. And then you do it again, you're like, fucking hell, what did I do that for? Oh, I don't know. But there you go.
Luke Wilson, yes, I do get a lot that people do think I look like Eddie Howe. I get that a lot.
I was just saying a few guys are asking. The 4 to 5 is actually on the Betfair exchange for a flew hard. So
Betfair exchange.
4 to 5.
Yeah.
GSI.
Oh yeah. Mega GSI.
The two hope that wasn't Thailand. It wasn't. The 205 at Ascot. The Chanel Farmer 1965 chase, the grade 2. La Home Presse is in here 4 to 6. Pick Dory 10 to 3. Dashel Drasher 7 to 2. Hitman's in here 6 to 1, but I think he's going to run a Haydock. St. Calvados, do your job. Old timers like Cool Cody, so on and so forth. Despite Venetia's form, despite it being his first run of the season, I like the horse. But if he can't win this race, he's no business in no Gold Cups or 3 mile grade 1s towards the end of the season. He simply has to win. Doesn't really matter the form of the stable. If he's good enough, he should win this race. And there's no excuses if he doesn't, in my opinion. Sean.
Yeah, no complications here, Dave. La Home Presse wins for me as well. Like, if he can't beat Pick Dory and Dashel Drasher, he's not going to be what they thought. And
correct.
He's 2 from 2 the last 2 seasons, first time out. And if he has any aspirations of going to Gold Cup, he has to be winning this very well.
Yeah, even at 70% fit, he needs to win, and it can't be an excuse.
No.
Andrew.
He should, if he's a Gold Cup horse, and they hope he is, he should be beating these hands down. As you said, Dave, Jesus, Venetia Williams' form is fucking worrying.
Yeah, in the next week or two, this is her time of the year. Like the start of December, when the ground is heavy, she tends to get a lot of winners, but she needs one at the moment.
Yeah, but I know we say she hasn't had winners, but then you go look at it. I'm looking at it here, and you see how far the horses are being beat. Yeah. I mean, 65 lengths, 11, 17, 19, 10, 16, 25, 2 1/4, 41, 13, 14, 58, 18. That's worrying. There's no two ways about it. That's worrying. But he's a class act he's a grade 1 horse and a grade 2. Dashel Drasher, if anything happens, he's the one that's going to pick up the pieces. Yeah. But he should win. I wouldn't be having a bet on it. I'll sit back and enjoy it. But Jesus, Venetia Williams' form is terrifying. If you wanted to put the APT and him double, that would be a worry.
The 240 at Ascot, the Carl Hurdle, grade 2, 2 miles, 3.5 furlongs, Constitution Hill. The last one of that treble, the odds-on treble, and they should all win, realistically. Constitution Hill is in here, and after John Bond's race, Nicky said he was quite happy with the ground now, and it's all systems go, so we should see him. Brewing Up a Storm, Goshen, Theatre Glory, it could go through them all, but Constitution Hill, same as what I've said about La Home Presse, simply just has to turn up and win, and it shouldn't be fitness and it shouldn't be ground. He should be good enough to beat the horses in here. Andrew?
As much as we're all in the honeysuckle camp, I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does this season. Look, we all love superstars, and let's hope he lives up to the billing and he gets the Cheltenham in one piece and he comes up against 100% honeysuckle as well. Because it's what we need. The 2 mile division needs a big clash up. The English against the Irish, build it up to the last. Look, he should win this doing handstands. He'd win this if I rode him, if they rode him, if you rode him, he'd win this. All we have to do is hold on and point him in the right direction. That's all he'd have to do. Brewing Up a Storm is he's Jesus Christ almighty, he's a twat. Goshen, please, just retire him. Stop. Then the rest of them, no. Constitution Hill bolts up. Has to. Sean.
Yeah, there's no even question. I think he's special. I really do. I think he's really good. But it's a price thing when you're looking forward to the Champion Hurdle. Like, there's no doubt what we seen at Cheltenham last year was absolutely incredible. Like, it was really, really good. And it's just we need the Honeysuckle Constitution Hill clash at Cheltenham this year. I just hope they both get there. I think he'll look a lot better this season. I think he might do it a lot more flashy and stylishy, where she's gone very cute nowadays and only does what she has to do. But if there's any doubts this weekend, it'll just be him being pulled. I think Nicky, now it's gone good to soft. I can't see why he won't be gone, but he'll win this. Not even off the bridle. He won't come off the bridle.
And the last one, 3:15 at Ascot, 2 miles and a furlong Class 2 handicap hurdle or handicap chase. And these handicaps at Ascot are always good spectacle, the hurdles and the chases. You've Boot Hill in here, 4-1 favourite, Edward Stone 9-2, Time White 9-2, So Scottish, the scammer 6-1, Frero Bamboo 8-1, Third Time Lucky. He's a dog now. He is a dog now. 9-1. Red Rookie 10-1. Shake him up. All right. 10-1 and 12-1 bar. For me, even carrying top weight, Edwardstone should be beating these. Kind of the same thing. If he wants to have any aspirations of going to a champion chase and having a chance in a champion chase, and I didn't much rate Edwardstone last year, but he did win the Arkle at the end of the day. He should be carrying top weight in a handicap like this and winning, in my opinion. Andrew.
Look, I'm going to get berated in the comments for this. I just don't like this Edwardstone fella. He won the worst Arkle in living memory. Fucking, it was the worst. It was terrible. Beating Gavin Blue Lord, Warlord, Riviera Hotel, Haunted Glory, Course of Blind Magic Days. Do me a favour, will you? He has no hope in any champion chase. Even if he wins this, he has no hope in hell. He's not going to beat the likes of Shiskin. He's not going to beat the likes of an Ergamine. No. I just can't have him. He gets beat off Gentle Lemiden, who was the biggest fruitcake we just touched on in God's green earth. And he had Third Time Lucky for pleasure behind him. No, he can go off 3-1, he can go off 9-2, he can go off 6-1. Fair play to him if he wins. I wouldn't touch him. I'll never back this horse in my life. I just something about him, I just don't like him. Just what happens. Time Hill is the one for me. Won well last time at over this course, beating Frero Bamboo. He's gone up £6 for that, or £7 for that. Done it really well. Paul Nicholls' horses again are still flying. I think he play a big role, but 11, 12. He's not your typical Arkle winner. Every bit of form can be looked at and can be scrutinized. He's not like Shiskin coming out of his novice form and you're looking at him going, Jesus Christ, Shiskin is 92 in a handicap chase. Oh, GSI every day of the week. It's just not. It's not the same feeling. It's not the feeling of that was a vintage crop of novice chasers. I know he went unbeaten throughout the season until bloody he got beat at Aintree, but he doesn't do anything for me. Shake him up, Barry is one that if he gets a jumping together could play a role at a big price.
Sean.
Yeah, I don't think Edward Stone's going to run here. There's no way that he was 4-6 to run against Nube Negra, and they have him in at 92 in this handicap. So I was coming from the point of view that I can't see him running. I have a cliff horse here now, and I'm going to follow this guy until he wins a handicap, because last year I told Dave he was a grand annual pick for me, and she ran him in the Arkle, and I was not a happy man. Yeah. And it's Red Rookie. He's 12-1 in here. Now, he'd be an E-Tray squeak tomorrow, the weekend for me, but he definitely has a win in him off that mark. He go back to his run last season and over in Chepstow, and he was beaten. And about the first 5 in behind all came out once since. And you're talking Brave Siaska, who also won a graded race during the season. And I just don't see how he doesn't have a win in him off this mark. So I will be going head first off the cliff with Red Rookie until he goes in a handicap this season.
Very good.
He's in half the price, which is helpful.
Punchestown
now?
6-1, is he?
6s. Lord.
Yeah.
Someone else is on my bandwagon, so.
No one got GSIs.
2 seconds, I get the race up here. This great app.
Who are you picking?
I think if Edwardstown turns up, he'll win.
Can you see it? It's just a price thing for me. Like, there's no way he could have went off 4-6 against Nuba Negra, and I have him in lined up at 9-2 here. I just
but he's carrying what 11 stone 12, and he's giving a shitload of weight away.
We'll just touch on Podgestown if anybody has anything to add or say to it. There's decent racing on Sunday. Florida Pearl Novice Chase Grade 2 over 2 mile 6 is on. You've the likes of Frontal Assault, Ida's Boy, Life in the Park, Manila Crooner, and others entered. And then, of course, we have the Morgiana Hurdle at 205, 2 miles, half a furlong. Willie has 6 entered. Sally, Sharjah, Sir Gerhard, Stateman, Vauban, Echoes and Rain, and Jesse Evans is entered. And they're saying here Tia Hoopo is entered, but I don't think he is. Anything to say about this, lads? I don't know what to think. Where Willie's saying he'll run all 6, but I don't think he'll run all 6.
Everybody be finger on the trigger here, I'd say, at 10 o'clock on Friday to see who gets entered, because there could be a right shake up the markets they come in. If so Gerhard doesn't go chasing, he's top of most of the markets. He's top of the Arkle. Well, no, Jambon is in front of him, but he's up there in the market in the Arkle, and he's top of the Marsh. You have Stateman, who I'm really strange. I can't believe that Willie has Vauban, who they talked so highly of, that he's still keeping Sir Gerhard Stateman over the hurdles. And I just a little out, so I wouldn't be surprised if Sharjah was banged there to upset the party.
Oh yeah, of course he will.
Andrew?
I can see I know Willie said he's going to run them all as of right now. It's Willie Mullins bingo in November. I'd say at least 2 to 3 won't run. He's not going to run them all. And if he does, by God, I'd be shocked. There's obviously, I'd say Sharjah, maybe sadly, I will be a lot more forward than the rest of them, because they're going to have bigger targets ahead of them. I know it's a grade 1, but it's used as a stepping stone for most of Willie's horses. Again, it's interesting to see who the hell is actually going to stay hurdling and who's going to go chasing. As Sean alluded to there, Sir Gerhard is near the top of the markets of all the novice chase races. So yeah, it's sit back Friday, 10 o'clock. What the hell is Willie going to have? That's more or less all you can really say about that one. The Florida Pearl final orders has improved on some rate of knots. He could be one that will pop up in a big handicap soon. Whether he's good enough to win this now, I don't know. He's still off 129. I think that's the mark now. It's very workable with him. He's really fast improving. Oh, Life in the Park. I'd have to see him do something else. So it'll be interesting to see who runs. Dev's coachman was good enough back over front of Assault. Ida's Boy, I think this could be more like a trip and a bit more. But yeah, that's going to be a decent race depending on who's up running it.
Any naps in next best?
Oh Christ.
I'd say the nap for me will be My Eye, and the next best will be Red Lucky. But anyone out there who likes a shorty, a blue tart at 4-5, I would highly recommend filling your boots.
Yeah, look, I think there's a few short price favourites this weekend that more than likely should go in. So, no real nap in next best for me. It's a good weekend racing though.
Yeah, I give who I say fancy. They're not strong naps the next best. I think Good Ruskadal, he'll run a massive race. I think Lord of Mesnil, I think he could be one that will really outrun his odds. I think he's a good each way bet at about 7-1, whatever he is. And if the horse in the hurdle race, which I can't seem to find, what the hell is his name again? David Pipe's main target, whatever his name is. If he turns up, main fact. If he turns up, I'd be interested in him because I think he's still ahead of his mark, even though he's.
I think we're really getting stuck back into the jumps now. The flat is officially gone. We've no more of it. The big dogs are coming out. It's good times.
It's jump racing all the way to Cheltenham. Thank you for joining us. With a lot of people watching there. If you do watch the video tomorrow or over the weekend. Please leave your selections in the comments below. Like and subscribe like always, because it helps the channel. And I'll leave you with this golden comment. I'm going to sign off on Goshen will be pulling the cart in the Steptoe and Son movie, because that's his level now.
Oh.